beautiful piece of property, has all whatever nature's given it. And within a few seconds, you say in your book that you have visual imagination.
Yes. You have to understand what abilities you have. Some people have finger dexterity, then they can be a good dentist.
Right.
Other people have analytical abilities, mathematical abilities,
Right.
creative imagination.
And you've had this ever since you're a youngster, the ability
Oh,
visually
yes.
to imagine.
You're given these aptitudes, and it's for you to know that you have them. And I was working for other landscape architects for about 4 years, and I really couldn't stand it because I could see how I could do it better. So all of a sudden, I said, I know enough, and I declared my independence on January 1, 1951, and it was a great feeling of exaltation. I felt so wonderful. I was free. And for people not knowing what freedom is, I think it's a really unhappy situation for them. But I had to go through a lot of hardship at the beginning because I had to find people who believed in what I was doing. But lo and behold, people help you out.
So you went to Penn State for your schooling.
Yes.
In the Department of Horticulture.
Yes.
And graduated as a landscape architecture.
Yes.
As
Yes.
a landscape architect. Then you worked for a few years, you're saying.
Yes.
And then you opened up a practice in Connecticut in 1951. And you've been in Connecticut ever since. It's a good 40-some years. And do you know that mostly the people who practice landscape architecture today in Connecticut, I think, had worked for you earlier?
Well, it's amazing how many are around here who have offices, and they are people who once worked for me.
And one of the beautiful things you've done, I don't know if you know this, is I feel that you've encouraged these people to learn, work with you. You gave them a lot of challenge. You didn't give them just busy things to do. I remember you gave them some very challenging opportunities and a lot of responsibility. And after they had 4, 5, 6 years of experience working with you, you encouraged them to go off and start on their own in their own practices.
Well, you have to use psychology, and you have to understand human nature. The more you understand human nature, the more readily you know how to handle people and how to design correctly for people. And this is very basic to my philosophy. So I take a great many photographs, and I try to observe all the time how people will sit in a chair or walk across the street, or how they function in an airport or a railroad station. I make all these mental notes. So when I get to design something which is similar, well, then I know what to do.
So you spend a lot of time being quiet and observing and thinking.
This is, for instance, you take steps.
Okay.
You have to know the proper relationship of riser to tread for the comfort of the people going up and down. And you'd be surprised how many steps are uncomfortable.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised because I'm not average-sized person, so I feel uncomfortable even sooner than someone else when things are not in the right proportion.
But when I travel through Europe, I have this little ruler, and if there's steps that are comfortable, then I make measurements.
Oh, I see.
And I find that the measurements of these comfortable steps that were done way hundreds of years ago are the same as we do today, which are comfortable for us.
I need to take a few minutes and talk about these books, the one that you wrote, which I have right here.
Yes.
Which is Art into Landscape and Landscape into Art. So that if people wanted to read more about some of your philosophy and concepts that you developed, they could. I mean, this book is filled with beautiful pictures, if I could show some of this to the camera. And we will, in a minute, show people some of your wonderful projects. So this book has been out a while. And people might find this in a library, I'm thinking.
Well, that's what you have to do today because it's out of print.
Out of print already. But you might find this in a good library. And then this book about Mr. By was written at Penn State. And I thought we might try to show this to the camera somehow. Abstracting the landscape. Of course, this has a lot of the philosophy of what goes behind your designs. And I understand another book that you've been working on for 25 years. This is the book that's going to be about moods.
Yes.
Moods interpreted into landscapes. It's going to happen soon, too.
Yes, they'll have been building up this collection for quite a long time. And in my teaching at different universities, I will mention these moods, and people will say, well, why don't you write a book about it? So this I have done.
So you expect that to happen then, within the next year?
Yes.
So this newer book would be more on the more current work since 1981 to the
That's
present.
another book that I'm working on to show much more of the sculpturing of the land, where the people have allowed me to use the bulldozer to make undulations, to corrugate the surface, and then when the sun is low in the sky on a clear day, these shadows are rising up and down.
And it's so eloquent.
And the people understand that, they enjoy it, and it keeps changing, of course, every 5 minutes. So what you have in the morning is one thing, and then late in the afternoon is another thing. And they're very happy with this, what we call minimization. There's no flowers. There's just these meadows and lawns with the dark background of trees and the shadows. There's a sculpturing process, just like sculptor will be modeling with clay. I will have a bulldozer operator who I'll say, now go down deeper here and raise it there. It's huge fun. And when I'm doing that, all my agonies, all my problems are just not there. This is to be understood. The creative person, when he's working real hard, is incredibly satisfying.
Right, because the true self is being explored and
Yes.
happening.
Yes, the process of doing things is the great joy in my life. The number one joy in my life.
Right.
The process of doing something. And so as long as I have one commission to do after another, and I'm allowed to do some of these unusual things, how could it be any better than that?
As long as the challenge is there.
Yeah.
So let's tell people all about Penn State and how they've come and taken all your drawings and all your work, which is now there on permanent display.
They thought it was very important that they have everything.
Which is wonderful, so everything is in one place.
Plans and letters and files and photographs. I asked them one time what did they want, and they said they wanted everything.
Okay. So the Department of Landscape Architecture has all of Ed By's drawings and jobs and
Yes, it's all being computerized. And
people will be able to go and study it in
yes,
later years
that's
then.
the idea.
So from some of that comes this traveling exhibition that they did, that's traveled.
Yes. Then they decided to make an exhibit of my work.
I see.
And they had a staff of people up there who worked more than a whole year. And they did it very well with a great deal of accuracy. I was just really quite happy and amazed.
Can you tell us about the Gold Award and what that signifies?
For the landscape architect, this is an award called the Medal Award.
The Medal Award.
It's equivalent to the gold medal that the American Institute of Architects gives to
I
some
see.
architects.
So it's international.
International.
Every year it's awarded to someone, doesn't matter what country
Yes,
they
it's
represent.
one from Brazil one time, and one from Mexico, and another one from
Well, congratulations, Ed. Now you don't have any pressure on you anymore because now you've been recognized.
I don't envy anybody.
So you don't have to stay up nights thinking about, now you know that you're the one.
Yes.
Let's take a look at some of your wonderful photographs and share them with the audience, okay? Can we do that? Can we share that with the
Easily,
audience?
because I have them right here, and we can do one after the other.
Oh, let's
easily
see if we
enough.
could do that. Let's give it a try.
Yes.
So Ed, let's talk about moods then. Moods.
Very good.
Okay.
Well, now this first photograph we're looking at, these are European beech trees planted in a double row, and it has a dominant idea or concept or a very strong emotional appeal in regards to the monumentality and the verticality. The major idea in this photograph is one of grandeur, but we also see delicacy in the branches. We see strength in the heavy trunks that are side by side. If we see them growing closely together, it proves that we can plant trees closely together and have them attain a great size. Also, we see a certain element of mystery where this path disappears to the left way down at the end of this alley.
What's this tell us?
Well, this is isolation and loneliness. Here this house is by itself in the Nova Scotia landscape.
Okay.
And simplicity of composition and austerity.
And
you can use these words to describe what we look at.
Oh, look at this one.
Well, here we have, of course, strength and antiquity in tree life. We see sturdiness, tenacity. These are adjectives that you can readily use, but above all, one of great endurance and strength.
And how about this beautiful photograph?
Here we have an example of delicacy. The idea that we can see in this photograph the gentle winds that are blowing these reeds and the ruffling of the surface of the water and the soft contouring of the hills. It was all very soft and sequential and delicate.